Basshole Studios in Hollywood, California. You're listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. We've all been one, so let's talk about it. Now, here's your host, Doug Bass.
He's an asshole, sir.
He's an asshole.
All right. Hey, everyone. My name is Doug Bass, and you're listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. This is a brand new podcast coming at you. The concept is this, pretty much. We've all been an asshole at some point in our lives, whether it was one simple incident that was kind of blown out of proportion, or it was a chunk of time in your life that you were an asshole, or, maybe you thought you were an asshole at a moment, but maybe you really weren't, and it was like misconstrued. Or maybe you are an asshole right now to people, and you don't realize it, or you do realize it, and it's affecting your life, their life, society, whatever. The fact is that we've all done some asshole things in our lives, whether as kids, adults, teenagers, whatever. So we can all admit that we've been an asshole at one point. So we're going to talk about it on this show. And that's the concept of it. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to have, a lot of different guests on talking about their asshole experiences. And, we're going to poke fun at it, and we're going to see what comes out of it and find the humor in these situations. A little bit about me. I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm an actor. I'm a filmmaker. I do it all. Yeah, I know it's a lot, but, you have to, these days, to try to be successful at any of these, mediums. You just really have to put yourself out there and put yourself into all kinds of projects to try to get yourself out there. So that's why I'm starting this podcast as well, because it's quarantine. COVID-19, everything's been shut down in LA. I live in Los Angeles, Hollywood. I've been here for about 18 years. The comedy scene is done for a while. I don't know when it's coming back. You got to be safe out there with live performance and concert venues and everything. Even just trying to go to a store these days, you got to wear your mask. You got to be careful. You don't want to get sick. You don't want to get other people sick. So the only option right now I see is for me to perform or just kind of be creative and do things, isolation style, is a podcast. I know I might be late to the game because it's 2020 and podcasting has been around for a while, but you know what? I think it's still, relevant, and even more so now because this is the new norm. Us doing entertainment from our homes, Zoom calls, Zoom comedy shows, all of the above. Zoom dating is another thing that's going on, I think. So this is what we're living in right now, and we're going to have to deal with it. Some of you may be wondering to yourself, all right, another podcast. Why a show about being an asshole? Is that really necessary? No, it's not necessary. But you know what? I think it's something that we can all relate to as people. I think we all have been one at one point, whether we'd like to admit it or not. But this is a venue to admit it and to learn from it, or possibly not learn from it and continue being an asshole. That's up to the people that are on this show. That's up to the people that are listening. You do what you want. It's your life. I'm just here to talk about it and maybe entertain you for a little bit. Look, life is long. I mean, it can be, unless you die suddenly in a tragic accident, which I hope doesn't happen to anyone. But we meet a lot of people over the years of our lives, right? And some of them are assholes, some of them are nice, some of them are in between, but we're human. We all have moments, and we're not going to like everyone that we meet in our lives, and that's okay. We're not supposed to. We're supposed to pick and choose the people that we want to include in our lives, right? That's our choice. That's the freedom that we have. So the thing is if you don't like someone and they're an asshole, you can either let them know that they're an asshole, or you just keep it to yourself. And, you might say on the side to your friends, like, that guy's an asshole. He's an asshole, which is fine. That's your right to do. And you know what? And if you want to be the asshole, that's fine too. But try to realize that you are that, and acknowledge it. Talk about it. Own up to it. Me, myself, I consider myself a pretty nice guy. Now, I know that there's people out there that don't really like me. I'm not their cup of tea, whatever. And that's great. That's fine. They've never really said it to me. I can just tell from their body language. You can just sense it. You have a seventh sense, a sixth sense, whatever you want to call it. I'm originally from New Jersey. We can just tell. East Coast people have that thing. I've done some asshole things in my life. I snap easily. I have a short temper when it comes to certain things. And then I snap, and then I try to calm down and look at, what did I just do? Why did I act that way? Is it because I'm tired? Is it because I'm cranky? Is it because I have a short temper and fuse? I shouldn't be acting that way, but I did. And now I'm going to realize it, or I'm going to talk about it because it was a funny situation. And I'm going to go into some funny situations I think that are funny that I've been involved in over the past, several years. Look, I'm going to have a lot of asshole stories as we go through this journey of this podcast. But I'll keep it short for the first one because we got a lot to get to. The other day I ordered food. I know it's COVID and everything, but I called ahead and placed the order. Gave him my name, Doug, and then he responded on the phone, John? I was like, no, Doug, Doug. And he's like, yeah, okay. All right, I got it. And I requested, I was like, can you make sure that there's cheese on the sandwich? What? What kind of cheese? Blue cheese. Yeah, okay, thanks, John. I said, Doug. The order's Doug. He's like, oh, yeah, right, I got that. Sorry, bro. Yeah. Hangs up. 20 minutes later, I go down there to pick up the food. There's no one in there. The place is dead. I walk in with my mask on, and I'm like, hey, I'm here to pick up an order. And I'm like, Doug? He's like, John? I'm like, no, Doug. And he's like, oh, yeah, right. And I'm like looking at the counter, and there's like no other order. There's one bag of food. So I'm like, I was like, is there a John order here? No, there isn't. There was one order there. Yet he consisted to say that my name was John. I think he was just being an asshole. He was kind of being rude on the phone. Didn't seem to really care about what I wanted, or, they're supposed to ask you. I got a French dip. They're supposed to ask you if you want the French dip wet or dry. Didn't even ask me if I wanted that, which style I wanted. He just gave it to me. It was dry. I really wanted it wet. So I was a little annoyed, I mean, I didn't flip out. I didn't become an asshole at that moment, but I felt a little asshole vibe coming off of him towards me. I don't know. Maybe he couldn't understand me because of my mask. Maybe that was the problem. I don't know. I'll never find out. But I don't know how you confuse Doug and John. Doug? John? Yeah, see, they're very different. So maybe the guy's having a bad day. I don't know. Look, it's not the end of the world. I got my food. Everyone was okay. But that happened the other day. Kind of pissed me off a little bit. That's all. All right. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Hang tight. We'll be back with this week's Asshole right after this. You're listening to the I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass podcast.
All right, we're back, and we have our very first guest on I'm an Asshole podcast. He's a very good friend of mine, one of my best friends. He's an actor. He's done a bunch of commercials. He's done voiceover. He was a Groundling Sunday Company member. His name is Mark Primiano. Mark, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on your I'm an Asshole podcast. I feel honored.
Thank you. Yeah, you are the very first guest on this show, and when I thought of who's the first asshole that I'd like to bring on the show, and I couldn't think of anyone else other than my best friend Mark Primiano.
Well, I don't know whether to be flattered or really upset.
No, of course I'm not calling you an asshole. No, but this is, this is the concept of the show is that we dive into, a time in your life that you were an asshole, or a single incident where you were an asshole.
Well, here's the thing, just to pre-state, like I don't think I'm an intentional asshole. I don't think I've ever intentionally been an asshole, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who think I am an asshole intentionally, and I'm not.
No, I totally relate to you.
I mean, my whole life I've had friends like that describe me as like, you either love him or hate him. It's like one of those things that's just like, he's not everybody's cup of tea.
He's one of those guys.
Like, and whenever that gets back to me, I'm like, why do people think? I mean, when I was a kid in camp, I remember there was a kid that came up to me like 2 weeks in who I ended up becoming friends with, and he goes like, "Man, when I first met you, I thought you were the biggest asshole," and I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "Oh, you just had this look that I don't have to be here,
Yeah,
And I was just like, you know what? It's like, what am I putting out there, to
you
the
have
world?
that look. Like,
I think I do think that anyone who gets to know me knows I'm not an asshole.
that's true.
But I think that anyone who doesn't know me at all, there's a very good chance they think I'm an asshole.
Right. People that don't want to take the time to really get to know who you are.
Right.
They have
No,
no
it's not.
clue.
I don't even think it takes much effort on
No,
their
it
part.
doesn't.
I think it's just like it's just time spent with me.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll understand like the face that goes along with my thoughts.
Yeah. No, I
and
can
where my thoughts are generated from to make apparently an asshole face.
I can totally relate to that. I mentioned that before you came into the studio. I was saying, it's you can kind of have a sixth sense. Like I always say, like I can tell if people think I'm an asshole just from like their body language or how they're acting towards me, or how like they don't want to interact with me as much as other people I see them interact with.
And I mean, I've been an asshole to people accidentally, or
Yeah.
where I realize later, like, oh shit, it's like that wasn't good. They probably think I'm an asshole. It's like
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah.
I know like my behavior should have been interpreted as that guy's a fucking asshole, but it was never intentional.
Right.
And I've
It
apologized to
never
people.
is.
I've apologized to people I love for that seeming that way.
Well, it's like I think we all like to push buttons sometimes. Not everyone, but some people do.
I mean, and this, by the way, I am an intentional asshole to my ex-wife. I have been just like she's been to me,
yeah.
to my family. I mean, we've all been assholes to our family intentionally. That doesn't count.
Is this like more after the divorce or like during? The
Oh no,
marriage?
during
Yeah.
when you're any fight, like gloves are off. All the past shit comes up, resentment comes out, and it's like you are a full-on asshole, and like you do stuff intentionally. You'll probably have to apologize for it later, but you're saying
Right.
stuff you don't mean, and it's hurting them.
Well, it's also in the
I mean,
moment.
then you stop and you go, "Phew, what are we doing? What are we doing?" I mean, but it's like it was intentional in that moment, no
Yeah.
question. Other than that, I don't think I live my life as an intentional asshole.
No, you're a good person.
So
you're,
those times
Yeah.
aside, when you feel like this person somehow deserves your assholeness,
right.
and trust me, my ex-wife was a queen asshole to me also. So I'm not saying like it was just a one-sided asshole.
It takes two assholes to make one. I don't even
Right.
know if that makes sense, but I know
You
what you're
got
saying.
two brown eyes facing each
Two
other.
brown eyes.
Yeah,
Facing
that's
each
a
other.
room full of assholes.
It's a
You're both
room full of assholes.
But we're talking about intentional
assholes.
as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah, look, I think we all have our moments of when we snap. I definitely snap at things, or I'm just like I don't care. I'm gonna be an asshole in this moment, and then deal with it, and then I'll do something stupid, and then I usually call you right afterwards. I'm like, you're never gonna believe what happened. I just did this. This just happened to me. We all go through those moments.
Yeah.
But I think
But again, it was like that's an asshole of passion.
right. But we are good people. We are nice people. That occasionally do asshole things, like everyone in the world, I believe.
Right.
And this is where you come to admit it on this show and talk about it, and we're gonna, make fun of it, and it's all in good nature when it comes down to it. But do you have a specific?
Yeah, when you
story?
told me that you were going to bring me on to discuss this, I searched my brain about a time that I was intentionally an asshole. A story. And let me preface this story by saying this is when I was younger, like teens, maybe 12 at the youngest. I had a sister who was about 11 months younger than me, who just was perfect, like the perfect angel, like for parents. It was like she just did everything right. She was never in trouble. And I also had a mother who was occasionally violent. Not
Violent?
like not like I don't want to paint her as like
No, of
an
course.
abuser. Like she comes home drunk and smashes our heads in. No, she would like she'd be violent in a crime of passion. She would be
Okay.
like just lose her cool with us and just start like hitting, like
Right.
not like
The old
across the head with
no,
the
the
ring
old
hand,
smack, like get the hell
like
out of here.
smacks with the ring hand, not
Right.
like closed fist or
No, no, yeah.
or and never
More
never,
of an annoyance.
not
beat.
that often. It was usually like when she was at the end of her rope every so often.
Yeah.
She would just like lose her cool and like lash out at us. And there was a particular day when she was on her phone call, like, and remember when the cords to the phone were like they would stretch like you'd spend extra.
You could use them as a strangling method almost.
Right. So there's like a kitchen, like there was a kitchen in my house, and there was a phone that was like up on the wall, and there was like a cord that wrapped, and you just saw her legs like crossed, like sitting there behind the little door jamb in the kitchen. And I went up, I was like, Mom, and I was interrupting her phone call, and she just went ape shit on me, and it looked like she was about to go like she was about to get violent. And I've seen that look in her eye, and I was just like, all right, this is not a good time to mess with her. And she didn't want to be interrupted. She threatened. She said, if you interrupt me one more time, I'm gonna, she would probably describe some
look of death,
really medieval thing she's gonna do to me. And for some reason, I was like, I got, that cartoon idea bubble, ding, it's like, oh, I know what's going to happen now. So I went up and I recruited my youngest sister, and I told her, mom's really pissed, and she doesn't want us to bother on the phone. And I said, let's get my other sister, who's the angel, riled up, and just to the point where she tells on us, like, just let's just like, wail on her or like pull her hair or poke at her until she gets to the point where like, I'm gonna tell Mom. So we did exactly that. We went like, we were just like, hey, what's the matter? And it's just jostling her hair and messing. Stop. And we were just like, come on, what's the matter? You gonna tell Mom? I will do it. I dare you. Until she finally got so pissed, like. And then, like, we were going to go to a drive-in movie. We went downstairs and sat and watched what was going to happen. And she basically went down there and, like, bothered my mom on the phone. Hadn't got the prior warning. Didn't see it coming.
She got smacked.
She got throttled.
Oh, my
And
God.
We just got to watch this.
You
and
literally threw her into the fire.
There is
used
no
her as, like,
question.
the decoy.
There's no question. That was premeditated asshole. Like, that was like...
How old was she?
She's 11 months younger than me, so
Okay,
I was about 12. She was about 11.
So you were all the same age, roughly.
That my other sister, who was accomplice, she's about 3.5 years younger than me.
Okay, so you were the oldest.
I'm the oldest. I should know better.
Yeah.
But I was on that day. I was like
and then the two of you sat there and watched.
We watched it like we were eating popcorn.
You had
like going like, oh, here's what we paid for.
You're like, pass me the milk duds. Let me get a couple.
Like,
of those.
Forget the pain. My sister who does nothing wrong basically was abused upstairs, and now she got abused even worse for reporting it downstairs.
And then your mom was probably like a sweetheart to the two of you. Like,
no. She was. It was one of the things. She was in a mood, and we were just like, well, this is going to be great. This is a great opportunity. That's to me, that's the definition.
Now, did you
of an asshole.
After it happened? Did you go up to the sister who got the beating? Did you explain what you had done? No.
Maybe with joy.
Yeah.
Maybe like it's like you're never gonna guess how we set that up.
Now, did you
years later?
Does she know now?
What?
Have you told your sister that story now?
Oh, no, I think I told her, we told her immediately what we did afterwards,
Okay.
and she was just probably destroyed. I
Yeah.
mean, to understand how awful it was. But I've apologized to her profusely in the years, probably a few times.
Has she forgiven you?
She did vocally, but her kids bring it up all the time.
Do they think it's funny now?
They don't.
No.
They will take my daughters aside, and they'll be like, did your dad ever tell you about what a terrible person he was? That's
the kind of
you
thing.
like your dad, but you're what he did to my mom was illegal, or whatever.
That's the kind of thing.
But she's accepted my apology, but it doesn't sound like she really did.
Well, unless it like emotionally scarred her for a while.
It probably did. This is why this is king asshole shit.
That's the kind of thing that my sister and I have done some things like nothing like that specific, but those are the kind of things that we would probably laugh about now. But yeah, I can tell that there's definitely some sensitive things there to the individual that experiences it that you may not relate to because you were on the other end eating popcorn and sucking on Jolly Ranchers, enjoying it.
Right. And my youngest sister, I think she went to like, my mother forced her to go to like a therapy session or something like that when she was like younger. And And when
She still
met
makes it up.
we met the therapist as a family, and I remember the therapist going like, "This is like," when she met me, her face was like, "This is the monster that you."
This nice man is the monster.
No, I wasn't a man. I was still like a teenager.
No,
But
I
like when she met me,
Young
the
man, yeah.
therapist was just like, her reaction was like,
Right.
"This is the monster you've described," and like
So-
I was not as imposing. Like she painted a picture, I guess,
Right.
of this like
She
you
had
know,
like drawings of the situation that made you
like
look
whatever picture she painted for this therapist was like a beast.
So even the therapist couldn't get behind her almost.
once she met me, it was like the opposite of what I described before. It was sort of like this isn't an asshole.
This is a lovely young man.
This is a sweet man who happens to like
how could he
hanging
have
out with
done
his
something
family.
like this?
What?
How could he have done something like this to you?
Right. So.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. See, I feel like kids are definitely prone to being assholes, and yeah, they don't realize it at the time what they're doing.
That's what I'm saying. I knew, that was like, that story was like that story
Right.
until I got older.
Well, you were a
was when I realized,
teenager,
like,
right? So like you kind of knew enough. You knew right from wrong, but you were just like,
yeah, but it was like, but you felt like as long as it was funny,
right.
it's acceptable.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the difference in kids and adults.
Well, that's what happens when we're younger. It's like we'll do things just for the laugh, I think. And like sometimes we do things for the laugh as adults as well, but like we have a better conscience of ourselves knowing like, all right, that might be a little too far. I don't know. You kind of I mean, I just remember like, yeah, like my sister and I, we definitely like would tease my mother all the time. I feel like as far as like just like I would tease my sister a lot, like just tickling
and
her.
you're the oldest too.
I'm the old. There's a 3-year difference between my sister and I. So I would tease her a lot, like just do stupid stuff, like I would like lick my hand and just be like, and like touch her face with it after.
What, your sister or your mother?
No, my sister
Yeah.
and my mom too. I just like I would lick my finger and be like stupid stuff, like just touch her with it, and it's
Right.
like that's gross, but it was like I thought it was hysterical for some reason because of the way they reacted towards it.
Right.
It's just like the things that would entertain us.
That's
as kids.
assholish behavior where you're like thinking, I'm gonna make them upset.
Yeah,
I know I'm gonna make them upset, and I'm gonna do it anyway.
yeah, and like now
For my amusement.
for my only my amusement only, and I got something out of it because I'm just like and like when you look at it as an adult, if your kids are there like licking their hand and touching you, like you're gonna be like, you might laugh at first and then be like, all right, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
If they're doing it to you?
Yeah, like if your kids were doing that to you,
No, the worst is when they're like you don't understand it when they're doing it to each other. Like that, then you're just like, what are you doing?
Right.
It's like, even though that's probably something you would have done.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you watch,
do you know how many germs are on your hand?
Yeah, so Mark has two lovely daughters, and that's something that you probably witness as a father, seeing them tease each other or being assholes towards each other in different ways.
There was a day when my kids were really young. My oldest was probably 6, and my youngest was 3, and I heard them very clearly in the other room. My oldest say, all I heard was her say, "Close your eyes and open your mouth." And I was like, that's not good. What's going on?
That could mean like a million different things.
I was immediately like, my ears were like, what?
I love that you just heard that snippet. Like you're in the other room doing whatever. And it's
well, other than that, like hearing silence was the only thing that was
silence
that was
also
upsetting.
bad, right?
When you hear when you hear a constant stream of like chatter, and then all of a sudden it just gets quiet, you're just like something just happened.
Either they're sleeping or like someone's in trouble.
No, they're focusing on something that's not good.
But normally, like part of you might be like, "Oh, finally, some peace and quiet." Like I can rest my
for
eyes
some
or
reason
something.
Instinctively, from the time they were very young, that silence was always a warning shot to me. It was always like it was like a foghorn. It was just like something's going on there.
So what is close your eyes and open your mouth? Did you find out like what one of them did to her?
It was awful. I don't want to. I'm not going to explain to protect the innocent. This is me.
Course.
This is me, the guest on the Asshole Show, not my
We
kids.
don't have to go anywhere you don't want to go, of course.
No, I mean it's not. I'm sure like one of them would volunteer the story, but I don't want to do it on their behalf.
That's for another show. Yeah. No, I get that. Kids can definitely be,
Oh, I mean they abuse me all the time, but it's like I don't mind, either.
What kind of what's an asshole thing they've done to you that abuses you? In a loving way, obviously.
I mean, they'll just call me names and stuff all the time. Not gonna go into that,
Yeah.
but they will. I mean, they will call me by some derogatory name all the
Right.
time, and it's just like, but again, I don't. I mean, I guess you'd call it a good sport. I really don't. You know, it doesn't really affect me. I've probably been.
You kind of like learn to zone like certain things out as a dad. I'm guessing. I'm not a father, but
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's big ticket items
yeah,
that are worth trying to curb, and there's other things that are like, if you're hurting me, I mean, I really don't. I really don't. You know, if you're
Yeah.
trying to hurt me, I know you love me, and I know I love you regardless. So it's like, you know, I'm not going to get upset about that.
Right.
If I catch you like trying to intentionally hurt somebody else that doesn't deserve it, or is, you know, very like, you know, sensitive to that stuff, then it's like, I don't like it at all.
oh, of course, yeah. You gotta be aware of that kind of stuff.
But my girls are not like that at
No.
all. I mean, I've never caught them, you know, hurting anyone.
No, they're great kids.
Knowingly.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. What would you say if there's something? I know we've all been, there's quarantine going on, COVID-19 and stuff. If there's something, we've all been kind of. I mean, you've been home for the most part during this whole thing, right? You haven't left.
Yeah, I've been pretty, because of the kids. I don't want to.
Yeah, of course, and that's good. That's good. Is there anything within the past 2 or 3 months during this whole thing that you may have? Not that you were an asshole in particular, but maybe you almost had a moment of like, I could definitely be an asshole right now, or witness someone else being an asshole to someone somewhere, or anything that strikes your mind. And it doesn't have to. You don't have to come up with anything, but just thinking of things that have happened during this weird time in our lives right now. That
Just
people
the
are
other
on
day,
snapping levels.
just the other day, and we've just had a resurgence and like a re-lockdown sort of, that was like, so we were inching our, just time capsule wise for this broadcast, where, you know, we were inching our way towards normalcy, and then all of a sudden, like, we had a surge again, and now everything's like, bars that were open are now shut down again, and things are like now put, like, people weren't behaving, so we're all being punished.
Yeah.
There's an issue with people not wearing masks for some reason.
Those people are assholes, right?
In my opinion, they are.
I agree.
But in their opinion, they probably are not. They're
No.
probably like, you know, they think we're assholes for making them wear them.
Right.
So, so anyway, I went to Target the other day. It was actually the first. I think it might even have been the first time I went to Target since this whole thing, since this lockdown back in, it was 4 months ago, happened. And almost immediately when I entered the store, there was a guy that had his mask like dangling over one ear and like hanging down on
like
the
an
side.
earring.
Yeah, and he was like whistling.
What?
He was like, oh, and I was just like, is this like, it was like, the animatronic, Pirates of the Caribbean ride, and you're just like
He looked like a pirate with a COVID mask on.
It was almost like he was intentionally trying to upset people. Like that. That was the way it looked to me. Like, it was just like, he knows. It's like mask off.
Yeah.
Like, but he has a mask, so he's intentionally not covering his face, not just his nose. It was literally dangling off his ear, like, so it was like not covering any of his mouth or anything.
Yeah, it's
and
like
then he's whistling, which is
people
essentially
are doing that to like intentionally piss people off. I feel
whistling is essentially calling attention to your musical droplets coming out of your mouth. Like in a spray formation, like all around, and just like, and it's like my instinct was to get into it with him, but then I'm like, that's exactly the opposite of what we need to do.
You don't even want to deal. It's not even worth your time. People are almost dealing like.
Well, not only that, it's like to go up to somebody is like the opposite of what you want. It's like you don't want to have any, intimacy with or of any kind with somebody that doesn't have a mask on that you don't know.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah.
So I'm not gonna go over there to this guy and give him a piece of my mind.
It's like he almost treated the mask like, when people like loosen their ties after the wedding and they just wrap it around their neck. It's
No,
like he's
it was worse than that. This guy was like by himself in a store making a scene. It wasn't just I'm at home.
He made a scene?
He's whistling with his freaking mask off, and he's like, he's sitting there like
zippity doodah. Yeah,
he's like not even shopping. He's just like standing there, just like being an asshole, like for for everyone to see, waiting for someone to get upset.
Yeah.
Like he was instigating is basically what he was doing.
Yeah.
And so to answer your question, that's something I've seen.
Well, I think a lot of people can relate to these maskless assholes that are,
Mask holes.
mask holes.
Yeah.
Mask holes that are walking around the cities, and there's like viral videos, like people are flipping out in Trader Joe's and all kinds of stores just because they don't want to wear the mask.
Although one lady, there was a follow up on that when she explained.
Yeah,
what
I saw that. She explained what happened, but it's like she waited in line 30 minutes with the mask on.
Right.
And then as soon as she gets in, she takes it off. It's like
right. That's what's been happening is they're allowed to enter the store because they're wearing a mask.
Right.
And once they get inside, they're like, "Let's see him stop me now.
Yeah,
I'm already inside."
It doesn't make like if anything. Yeah, I know it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's just people that don't like being controlled. It's like they don't appreciate being told what they have to do.
They think it's their right to pick and choose what they want to do, and they're gonna kill people. They're gonna get people sick, and it's not cool. Yeah. So yeah, we do have a lot of mask holes, assholes right now. Maybe some of them will come on the show and talk about why they choose to not wear a mask. I don't know.
I don't think that's going to go well.
Remotely, of course. I don't want to be anywhere fucking near them if they don't have that damn mask on.
Right. I don't know if that show will be over in like 5 minutes because you're going to not want to talk to that person.
Because they're going to storm out.
You're going to want to explain to them your point of view, and they're not going to want to hear it. It's going to be upsetting.
And then they'll leave, and they'll just be sitting here alone. Well, you've really put yourself out there, Mark. I want to thank you for coming on today and sharing your stories with us and everyone out there. And I think there's only one thing left for you to do.
Yes. I am Mark Primiano, and I'm an asshole.
I want to thank Mark for coming on the podcast and sharing his stories. Everyone, remember, don't be an asshole, but if you are, talk about it. See you next time.
You've been listening to I'm an Asshole with Doug Bass. Please subscribe to us on all streaming platforms. Follow Doug on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Doug Bass Comedy. Thank you for listening, and remember, don't be an asshole, but if you are, talk about it. Have a good asshole story? Email us at doug@dougbasscomedy.com. We'll see you next time.